adventures.
Hey guys, Chuke here with Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. I cannot even keep up with all the bear reports that I'm getting. Thank you to all the viewers who are out there sending me emails, direct messages, logging onto my website and sending me messages. I've got a slew of articles over the last couple weeks. I've been out camping and stuff, but I can't even keep up with them. There's been so many bear encounters. I don't know what's going on. Seems like the whole continent is just exploding with bears, and we're having these bear-human encounters. I had my own this week. There's black bears in my backyard, and you know, I pulled my pistol just because I got uneasy. I had a couple bears running around, getting pretty close to me. I'll throw some of the footage up here. You know, I had a 9mm, and against black bears, that's going to be fine, especially with the extreme penetrators I had on there. A lot of people ask me questions about that, but just story after story. First of all, Canada, and I think Canada actively suppresses their bear encounters, but someone sent me, a couple people sent me this article. This is from the CBC. Kananaskis County under bear warning, some trails closed. We had an elderly couple being followed by a grizzly, and then they just have 17 bear advisories now in effect throughout the Bow Valley. Alberta Parks has issued a bear warning encompassing the entire Kananaskis County. So really interesting. So that I feel like they're finally doing some good reporting in Canada, but they're just closing all these trails because there's bears following people, there's bears feeding on cow moose carcasses, and then at the very end of the article, this is what blows me away. It says, talks about, doesn't mention firearms. Oh, God forbid they mention firearms, but it says bear spray. You know, carry bear spray and use bear spray if a bear gets within 4 meters of you. You think? I would use bear spray if it got far closer than that, farther away than that. That's just unbelievable. I'm a fan of bear spray. Yeah, and double cheeked up with some bear spray here, but most of the time I just bring a firearm because bear spray has been known to fail way more than firearms have been failed. This is just in case hip holster here. I got my good old Dan Wesson Razorback 1911 chambered in 10mm. I just shoot it better than the Glocks and the XDMs, which I'm a fan of. They've got way better capacity in the Glock and the XDM. I'm just so much more accurate with this thing, and the recoil is not bad since it's all steel 1911. So besides the Canada story, and this is crazy, folks. The world is just going insane around us right now. I'm in Anchorage, Alaska, and we've got Putin and Trump in town. Of course, they're on Elmendorf Air Force Base getting ready for the big interview today, the peace talks. So just all kinds of demonstrations and people running around and all these news crews in Alaska covering it. And then on top of that, I got bears in my backyard and I got to worry about that. So another article that somebody sent me, this is from the Powell Tribune, and it's kind of talking about Wyoming, talking about delisting the grizzly bears may be easier during Trump administration. Speaking of Trump, which is pretty interesting because I know the administration is looking at increasing logging and some of these natural resources, and it's talking about delisting grizzly bears specifically in the lower 48 states in order to make some of this easy. And I think they should open up more hunts. I think it is a good idea. I don't believe that grizzly bear is endangered because we've got tens of thousands up here, even more in Canada. It's the exact same species. It's never going to go extinct. And they're just attacking people left and right. So we had a bear shot in Wyoming, it mentioned, and then they're looking for whoever shot it because it's all these human encounters. But that brings us to this other article, a third article I'm going to list. And this is an article by Mark Hines, and it's entitled "Montana Outfitter Kills Grizzly, Fails to Report It, and Faces a $10,000 Fine." So the actual outfitter, a Wyoming hunter who went through a similar case, said it can be incredibly difficult to distinguish between two bear species. So this guy shot a grizzly bear while black bear hunting. For me, it is not hard to distinguish between a grizzly bear and a black bear, but we don't get all the color phase black bears up here, at least not where I'm at. I guess down south they got that, you know, the glacier bear, and I've seen bears with a little bit of white patch, but it's mostly just all black. But I guess if you've got a really big color-phased black bear, I could be confused in that case. So, according to federal law, anyone who kills a grizzly must report to the state and/or federal wildlife agency within 5 days. Montana outfitter is facing $10,000 fine after he allegedly shot a grizzly bear during a spring black bear hunting season, then failed to report the killing to authorities on time. So it sounded like he did report it, but just not within the 5 days. So federal investigators say outfitter Bryant Mickelson waited 2 weeks, yeah, so there you go, over 5 days, to report killing of a grizzly bear on May 27. He allegedly sent other people text messages and photographs of himself posing with the dead grizzly. So he wasn't completely hiding it, sent pictures to his friends. He was charged with failing to report the taking of a grizzly bear according to court documents. He made a plea agreement with prosecutors who recommended that he be fined $10,000 and sentenced to 1 year probation. Change of plea hearing for Mickelson is set for September 9th. So Hunter Joel Prophet of Cody on Wednesday told Cowboy State Daily, and I believe this is a Cowboy State Daily article. That's one of my favorite news publications. I'm always talking about them on this channel. That Bryant situation somewhat mirrors what happened to him and his son Fisher in the spring of 2022. So Joel Prophet saying, this kind of happened to me too. They were hunting black bears on the North Fork when Prophet gave his son, then 13, the go-ahead to shoot a bear that he was convinced was a black bear, only to find that it was a grizzly. However, unlike Mickelson was alleged to do, Prophet reported his mishap right away. So immediately reported it. That's probably what the other guy should have done. Reported that night and have the video to prove it was a case of mistaken identity, he said. So Prophet himself was ordered to pay $10,000 in restitution, holy cow, to the state of Wyoming for the dead grizzly and serve 1 year unsupervised probation. His record has since been cleared, he said. Well, that's good. Tough to distinguish the species. Despite the black in their species name, black bears come from an array of colors. Okay, so that's where it's coming from. All the cinnamon phase and color phase black bears that they have down there. It'd have to be pretty big. Usually you can see the big old hump and the big old head and know if you're dealing with a grizzly or a black bear, I think. Maybe if it's a big male color phase black bear, it'd be hard, but the brown grizzly bears are easy to distinguish for me, at least. So he took video and he can prove that it looked like a black bear. So maybe this guy does have a case. Prophet here. In 2013, Luke Ellsbury had been a state bear management specialist for the Wyoming Game and Fish Department, killed a grizzly east of Yellowstone National Park. He claimed to have mistaken it for a black bear. So he was working for the state. He was one of those biologist guys. So pleading guilty, that guy had to pay $10,000 too. So that is a pretty steep fine. Investigators say that Mickelson of Timber Mountain Outfitters shot the grizzly in Chateau County, Montana, in the Highwood Mountains. The Highwood Mountains are an isolated range rising from the surrounding prairies of northwest Montana. Grizzlies for years have been reclaiming prairie habitat. I did a video on that. They're taking over the prairies. Residents of the prairie towns of Augusta and Belt, Montana, which are near the Highwood Mountains, previously told Cowboy State Daily that they're increasingly seeing grizzlies out away from the mountains, yeah, in the prairies. That's what I was talking about. So given the experience and similar experiences of others, Prophet says he's convinced that the penalties for accidentally killing grizzlies are too stiff. I would agree with that. $10,000, that's excessive, just like he says it's excessive. If he had reported it right away, would the penalty be less, he said. It doesn't sound like it would. If he reported it that day, it would still be $10,000. So, oh wow, so there's even maximum federal penalties, which could include fines up to $25,000. So he was afraid he was going to get that. Just amazing. So they haven't lost hunting privileges yet. So let me know what you guys think. I think that's a little stiff, $10,000 to $25,000 for killing a grizzly, when hopefully I think they should be delisted. It's a complex case. You know, I don't live in Montana and Yellowstone and Wyoming, that area, but I've been covering these stories for a while, and it seems like there's just been tons of attacks. The elk hunters are getting attacked. If they don't delist it, at least open up a whole bunch of hunts so that they can bring that population down a little bit. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. I'll keep doing these stories. It's Chuke, your friend in the field.
My name is Chuke. I like to trade my guns just for fun, but now I have none. Oh, look, get shot by a bear, but I don't care. I got a 10mm. Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Watch you almost die every time.